Hi, this is Tanya from Love Buddha Tarot, back with the cards for the weekend of the 30th, the 31st, and the 1st of January. So we finally nearly got through this year. Been a bit of a strange one, the energy. Sorry I haven't done any videos. Things have been like pretty crazy, but they have been on a global scale, I feel. Um, Sadly, we've lost more creatives. You know, the very sad loss of Carrie Fisher and Debbie Reynolds. I mean, for the mother to go the day after her daughter it's very sad for the family left. But as a mother, it also shows the strong bond that is there, between us. I mean, with our mothers, we lived inside of them for 9 months, before we did live inside of our grandmothers as well. But that's something else that blew my mind when I found that out. But I will go into that another time. But anyway, the reason I'm mentioning that is yesterday I've sat in stillness for a few days. I've sat in a lot of quiet, and I've just sat with my thoughts. I've sat with my feelings. And it's, whenever you sit in stillness, whenever you turn your head off, this is when it gives spirit time to speak. And they have never shut up, to be honest. So I've downloaded like loads and loads of stuff. Some of them I will use for another day, but there is loads coming through. And yesterday I was sitting watching Postcards from the Edge, which is the story of Carrie Fisher and Debbie Reynolds. So I was sitting watching that, and then Spirit started talking to me, and they didn't want me to watch the end of the film. But basically what they said in a nutshell was that the amount of creatives we have lost this year. I mean, it started a year ago, didn't it? It started before the new year with Lemmy, and then continued. I think the biggest one was David Bowie, which affected so many people. And then from then on, we have just had a huge loss of creative souls on this planet. What I got told yesterday was that the creatives are dying. These monumental creatives are dying to make way for new people to take their place. Spirit said that creativity is key, and they also said that it is the arts that will heal the world. So what Spirit are doing is encouraging us. I mean, when any of these people die, I mean, like I say, poor George Michael, whether you liked his music or not, you kind of get away that he was a fantastic songwriter, and he made a massive difference within the music world. And sadly, he lost his life at a very young age, 53. I mean, that's 10-year older than me, and that is so sad. He had all of the money in the world, which is now coming out as well, that he did share it as well. So that's lovely. That you usually get nasty stories when people pass on, but the fact of the good that he done and the good that he'd done without acknowledgement as well, is a beautiful thing. So what is happening is these people have brought some sort of light to our world, whether it was when we were teenagers, whether they've inspired us, whether we fancied them, whatever. They have actually been a part of our upbringing, and sorry, Hendrix has just stood all over my cards there. So we cannot dismiss the effect that they've had on our lives. These type of people, they have been important, sometimes as important or more important than our schooling, because they have, watching them sort of kick against the system, watching them allow their inner thoughts out, watching all of this has inspired us to be the people that we are, and like I say, music is very important in that, but so is art, and all of the other theatre, books, all of this. They all things that give us, they sort of show us that there is a different way, and they're usually wrote by the people who are the ones that believe in this different way and go out to do what's in their soul. So Spirit said that the passing of all these creative souls within this year has been, in a way, to guide us to be the people who we were meant to be, you know. And when we are the people who we are meant to be, when we are our authentic selves, when we are our creative selves, you know, this is when we're coming from a place of love. We're working from our soul starts to grow and our light starts to shine, you know. So this is it, it's a beautiful thing, and I really feel that that is why, you know, they're making space, because, you know, there's new, oh, I don't know what's the word, what's the word, innovators, I think, innovators of creativity. Now, just again, as something's just came in there to mention that, I sat and spoke to Spirit about a week and a half ago, and said, please, I need something. Please, can you give me something? And within a couple of hours, I had somebody contact me and come to see me, asking me to, if I would join their charity. And I said yes, straight away. And then they asked me to go to Iraq. And I said yes, straight away, you know, maybe to my better judgment. But, you know, I asked for a sign, I asked Spirit for something, and they gave me it. So, you know, I have to take it. What this is doing is, this is working with children who have witnessed atrocities, children who have had lives and seen things that no child should ever see, you know, children that are orphaned, children that don't have schooling, things like that. And basically what it is it's working with children to teach them empathy as well, so that, you know, we start at the bottom up, so the hate is not carried on in the world, but it's also teaching them creativity as well, because every child should be able to express themselves in a creative way. So, you know, there's a lot about creativity coming through at the moment. So, right, sorry about that. That was just stuff that came in that I felt had to be said as well. So we'll get back to the cards. Now, I'm using new cards today, and it's quite strange when you get a new deck, because they all speak in a different way. Like I say, all of the decks that I use, I get different answers from them, or they speak to me in a different way. These ones are quite stern. That's what I'm getting. There's sort of no beating around the bush. It's just, right, okay, there it is. Now, what is interesting, I'm trying to think, do I mention this? Do I yet or not? Right, when I pulled these cards, I pulled some from this new deck, I pulled some from Osho, and I pulled one from the Colette Baron Reid to finish this off. And the first thing that came through to me was nature or nurture. There's a lot about nature in these cards. I'm briefly just going to do them because I'm going way over time already, so I will just come out with what's there. The first card that I picked for Friday the 30th, is Temperance. Now, when we look there, that angel doesn't look that happy. Like I say, they're quite stern, these ones, you know. Whenever I'm in the face of authority, I always start to laugh. And when I was looking at these cards, it's like, right, okay, I shouldn't be laughing, but, you know, that is how they make me feel. So where we've got this card, and temperance always means balance, you know, it's bringing something back in where there has been imbalance as well. And if we have a look at this card, it's like they have 1 foot on the ground, on the safe ground here, and they have 1 foot in the flowing water. Now, if they put the 2 feet in the water is going to take them where it wants to take them. They will have no control over it. If they put the 2 feet on that ground, then they're sort of stuck there, and they will have to decide. There is nothing pushing them forward. So what I feel this card is saying is that there's balance needed here. It's like at the moment there seems to be a little bit of limbo going on, and you know, it's sort of like, I mean, even there, if we have a look at this full foot, it's not fully planted on that ground in the same way that one's not fully immersed in the water. So it's sort of like between two worlds, if that makes sense, or between two ways of thinking. And the thing is, when we have imbalance in any way within our life, you know, we are not on sure footing. You know, he couldn't run or anything like that. You know, if something came for him, or if something, you know, sort of he got a shock and something came up behind him, he would either fall in that river or he would fall onto the hard ground. So there's no sure footing, there's no solid footing with this. And when we have imbalance, this is what causes us to feel out of alignment. we are not in alignment. And this, is not a good feeling. And you know it because you feel it, and you feel it within your core, and something's not right, and I don't know what it is, And the thing with imbalance as well is when we have an imbalance within our psyche, within our chakras, within our soul, what happens then is we can actually get physically sick as well as spiritually sick. So this is something that really needs to be brought in. And a question to ask yourself when this card comes up is, are you living in harmony with yourself and with the universe? Because if you are, then you will not feel imbalanced. So what this card is saying is try and bring this into balance. I'm not saying go all woo woo and, do you know what I mean, just listen to your horoscopes and stuff and let them guide your way, because that is again not healthy. And I'm not saying go down the logical route. So it's like, don't use just your left brain or just your right brain. Mix the two together. This is what he's doing there. He's mixing the two. It's like an alchemic process where he is mixing the two aspects to actually bring in balance. So we can't live a spiritual life without logic, and we can't live a logical life without spirituality. People try, but it doesn't work. So it needs to find the perfect mix of the two. They showed me they're making bread. I don't know, I've never made bread. Is there something within bread that you have to find the perfect mix or something? So this card is saying, please bring yourself back into balance. I'm also looking there, and the colors that he has on his robes are all of the colors of the chakras. So I would really recommend doing a chakra meditation, just to reset yourself. Because if you've got chakras spinning the complete opposite way, it doesn't matter whether you have a couple of them that are going right and working for you. The imbalance with the ones going the opposite way will actually cause problems as well. So like I say, that's for Friday. I'm briefly going to do the Osho ones as well. And the card that came out for Friday with this is laziness. Now, this is a card. It's saying don't get too complacent where you are as well. It's not like, things might have calmed down, but it's not like your journey is over, and the thing is, if we don't appreciate what we do have, then you're more inclined to lose it as well. So if we have a look, this guy's he's sitting back, he's drinking his drink, he's got his sunglasses on. So this is not allowing him to see that the shards of glass or ice or whatever it is that he's sitting on are actually cracking around him. So this is not being aware. It might be, yeah, everything's rosy and everything's cool, but it's like, really, is that foundation really solid? Because, take them sunglasses off, take them blinkers off, and that there may be trouble ahead. That's what's just come through. So it's like, this is saying that you can rest, but this isn't it. The game isn't over yet. Your game isn't over until the day you die. You take your last breath. So be alert for what's coming next. And this card is saying, please remember gratitude as well, because if you don't have gratitude, suddenly you might turn around for something that was there and think, all right, okay, where's it gone? And there's we often miss things more when they're not there. I've been talking about my mother a lot lately, and just the fact that she's not there, I realize how much she actually did mean to me. Even though when she used to pick the phone up, I said, oh God, her again. But it's when they're not there, that's when you miss them. When you give gratitude as well, this also brings happiness as well. So it's don't just sit back and accept something. This is saying it's time to make a move in some way as well. So what Osho says about this card is, when you are lazy, it's got a negative taste, and that's not good. When you are full of energy, you're radiant, you're bubbling, you're vibrating, you're not sleepy then, and you're perfectly aware, and you're not dead, because we're not dead yet, This life is not about dying or dying together. It's about living and living together and having adventures and, and making the most of it as well, So if you think that, with this, Osho says it's like, your mind can deceive you as well. It can rationalize things as well, and that becomes like a non-doing. So we don't take action. And you can say, oh yeah, I'm just sitting Zen, and I'm a Zen master. This is what I'm doing, or I believe in towers, so that's why I'm not doing anything. But really, do you know what I mean? Osho states that the only person you're deceiving is yourself. So this card is saying be alert to things. So the next card we have that's come up, and like I say, this deck is very, very different, is we have the Empress. Now, everybody knows the Empress is love. She's very in tune with she's a sister of the High Priestess, so it's, she's connected. This is the thing. She's connected. And when I'm looking at this card, there's quite a lot coming through with it. If we have a look at her feet, it is strewn with abundance and fruits of her labor. Here we have, this looks like a water fountain, and well, the first thing I got with this is water is nourishment as well, and it's like, stop to take a drink, stop to take some of this nourishment. If we have a look there, she's offering, she's got this scepter, which is the power of consciousness, and she's offering that as well, so when we have this in, it's a very, very spiritual card, and it's a very card about love. So I feel that this is looking at things on a soul level. The card that we have for the next day is the Emperor. And the reason I'm saying the soul level is because I feel this is talking about your soul, and this is talking about the ego. And as I've just said, it's about getting the balance right between the two of them. So, like I say, with the Empress, there's a real element of healing here. If we can see those crosses in there, and like I say, there's just on this card, it's like she's protected. She's sort of, I'm seeing this where she's standing as like a backbone, so she's supported. And I feel that this is, she's saying she is supported by the universe, because this is what she believes. And because she has this gratitude, because she has this deep love, because she has this deep spiritual connection, which is where the love comes from, because she gives love to everybody she meets. This is what the Empress does. She is the mother of the deck, and she's very connected to Mother Nature as well. So this is her role. Her role is to nurture. Her role is to make things better. Her role is to nourish people, and she does this by giving them love, by her actions, and what happens there is, like I say, wherever she walks, it's like, something grows. It's sort of like, if you see her feet hitting the ground, there'll be little flowers and that coming up afterwards, and that is what is coming through with the Empress there, so this is it's a lovely card. It's a card of security. It's a card of safety. It's a card of open-heartedness, kindness. There's a lot of that coming through with this. Now, when I pulled the Osho card as well, which sort of goes with this one, I got the card called Experiencing. And again, this is the number 3, which is the same as the number 3 to the Empress. And what this is talking about, this is again talking about nature and how connected we are when we go into nature. This card is pretty much saying, go out and hug trees, you will feel that they hug you back. And this is the thing with the Empress as well. When she gives, she gets back. So by giving this love and kindness away, she gets it back. If she holds on to it, then she will be the one that gets nothing back. It's a strange concept. We do get more by giving than we do by we end up receiving more by giving than what we do by not giving and by keeping things to ourselves. So this card, if we have a look at it, there's some beautiful colors in here, very related to the bottom chakras as well. So this is sort of our root chakra, where we are rooted into the ground. And, when our roots are deep rooted into the ground, this is when we are secure. We don't need external things to make us secure. It's when we are rooted. There's also a lot of yellows if we have a look around this, and this is like a personal power. There's also the colors of the sacral chakra, the oranges. This is your emotions, this is your feeling, this is your sex center, this is all of that. And so this is saying that when you are the Empress, when you work from a heart center, from a heart base, what you will find is that all of the lower chakras then actually sort of work together, because when you're coming from a place of love, you get that security. The universe gives you it. When you are coming from a place where you are emotional and you're allowing your emotions, you will feel safer because the universe allows this. When you are coming from a place of love, and when you spend your time in nature and you understand the lessons that we are being given by nature every single day, this is when you are pretty much fearless and you are at one, and that balance we were talking about is brought in. Now, when I'm saying that, how we learn from nature, you know, like a tree doesn't stand there and have somebody say to it, okay, you're going to be a tree. You're going to grow a branch today. It just does it naturally. It does what grows naturally. Have you ever seen it when you have, there's a great picture of where there's been somebody's left a bike against a tree, and the tree has actually grown around that bike. So it didn't say, oh, there's a bike there, I can't do that. What it said was, okay, I still want to grow, and in the way I am, so I'll just adapt and I'll grow round my obstacle. So this is the beautiful thing with nature. Nothing can stop it. We build dams and everything to stop the flow of water, but sometimes them dams break, and when they do, that is when the flow comes in even more. So, like I say, it's quite a beautiful thing that's coming through here. I'm really wanting to see where it's going next, because this is quite interesting for me to see this. But yeah, so this is talking about Saturday. Keep your heart open. Go with the flow. Feel secure in yourself because you are enough. It's just a great teacher of mine, a guy called Jambo, has just posted a thing on social media this morning saying that you are enough, and he talks about himself and how he's actually accepted himself, and how when he knows within his being that he is cool, how his life has changed beyond measure. He's not waiting for affirmation of other people anymore. He knows it within himself, and he says he struggles with it because this is something that we're not brought up to think a lot. We're actually brought up where we sort of live a little bit. We are taught to live in fear a lot, and this is, now I'll go on to Sunday, so sorry because I'm going off on a tangent, but here we have the Emperor. Now, if we look at the Empress and the Emperor, they're very similar, but the colors are a lot darker on this Emperor, and the Emperor just looks very, very stern there. This is what I'm getting from this. And he's got his, I don't know if that's a book of rules or what, but he is, this is about logic, this is the way you do things, and this is how things will get done. He is coming from a place of control, which control, when we break it down, comes from a place of fear. So these two people are coming from completely different places. I'm not saying neither of them is right, and I'm not saying neither of them is wrong. What I'm saying with this, because there is no right and wrong in spirit, if you feel in your heart that what you're doing is right, then nobody can tell you otherwise. What I'm saying with this is we need to bring the balance in between the two. So, like I say, with this card and with the Emperor, it's sort of talking about this is how things should be done, and sort of ruling with an iron rod, if that makes sense. He is logical mind, that is it, he's cut off. The Empress, she's deep as the ocean. There's a, what's that Annie Nin quote, and it's I think I must be a mermaid because I have no fear of depths, but a great fear of shallow living. And that is it. The Empress will go deep. That's all she knows. A small talk, anything like that, just doesn't. She just doesn't get it. But unless you are prepared to go deep, then you will not get the breakthroughs. You will not learn the lessons, and you will not find the wisdom and the strength that awaits us all. Now, they've just alerted me to there that, these could possibly even be teardrops that her headdress is made of, so it's that's it, when you go deep, yeah, you feel immense joy, but you also feel immense pain. But there are emotions that you cannot get, you cannot have one without the other. You've got to experience them. And like I say, there's the card experiencing. So, this is what the Empress is. The Emperor is all about facts, logic. This is it, or things he's read, things that they believe to be right, But like I say, there's a power and there's a control comes in with this Emperor. We have free will within life. A lot of people sort of, disagree with that, but we do have free will. We can do whatever we want. Yes, other people might not agree with it, but that doesn't mean we can't do it. And what this card is saying, what is coming in here, is that we are trained to think on a fear-based basis. And what this does is this keeps us in a prison, and this keeps us in pain as well. We all are born with a psychic ability, whether you believe in psychic or not. We are all born with an intuition. And if we look at children and how free they are, children don't worry what they look like. When they're young, that does come in, and a lot sooner now. But children don't. Children get up, and their mission of that day is to play and to have fun. They laugh, they sing, they show love to the people that they love. They're not hiding behind anything. Then what happens is they get told that, things are, you don't talk to that stranger, you don't talk to that man, you shouldn't be doing that. People will laugh at you, stop it. And so we start to think, all right, okay, we're doing wrong then by being natural. So this is where I'm talking about the nature-nurture thing. And this is what came in with them. So, like I say, this natural ability that we're all born with to live this lovely free life, and be kind to one another and not see differences and just enjoy other people, then gets sort of cut dead because we are told that there is scary things out there and we shouldn't do that because that isn't what is normal. So our psychic ability is then dismissed in case it's deemed weird, So weird is like against the norm, what's not normal, So it's like, right, we've got to be normal, we've got to fit in. But the thing is, we were actually born to stand out. And that is like pretty much how I totally believe it. Marianne Williamson, who is a great teacher, I was watching quite a lot of her stuff last night. She was talking about something similar, and she said she always used to know what time it was. She never wore a watch, but she always sort of knew instinctively what time it was until she got into her 20s. And one day somebody questioned her on that and said, how do you know that? That's really strange. So then she started to think about it. And since then, she's never been able to do it. So the second her logical mind got in and said, well, you shouldn't be able to do that, because that's not normal. You need a watch to tell the time. Her brain turned off the ability to do it because it was deemed as not right. Okay, so is this making sense? I don't know, it's coming from all over here. So like I say, what this card is saying, this card is keeping us like sort of, I really feel that these two cards today, it's about the mix of them. It really is. About finding the balance between the spiritual and logic. I mean, if we look at the feet of the Empress there, it's strewn with riches and fruits and stuff like that. If we look at the feet of the Emperor, he's like on a box sort of thing, and it's like, I think at the moment as well, again, Marianne Williamson was talking about something like this as well, that we are living in sort of a collective depression, at the moment. We don't have anywhere where we can go out and we can express our emotional needs or our deepest thoughts. I mean, like I say, the Empress, she does it anyway. But a lot of people can't do that, so everything is just contained. We'll give a little bit, oh, I'm feeling a little bit like that, or I'm feeling like that, or we don't go deep. This is what I'm saying, we don't go deep. So like everything is contained in these little bite-sized boxes, which we can be spoon-fed, and that keeps everything all right, but this keeps us in the box of this collective depression, or a social avoidance that people do have feelings. You look at it, and especially for guys, I feel with this, they're always told, big boys don't cry, just deal with it, man up, whatever. That is so, so sad. This is why we have so many men with their heads in messes at the moment, because there's no outlet to actually allow these feelings out. And as a human being, it doesn't matter what gender, what age, or whatever, as a human being, we have these feelings. We do have these feelings alone, although we can express them to other people as well. Nobody knows exactly how we are feeling with it, so we are alone on this journey. But it is much easier to be alone when you are within a collective who actually understand and have empathy towards your cause, if that makes sense. Right, okay. Yeah, sorry, I was just, a couple of my friends actually came into my head there, and it's like I say, I am very, very lucky to have the people that I have around me, because they get me, even though it's quite hard at times, they get me, and they understand it. So yeah, so sorry, I'm going off on that. So when we are stuck in this box, when we have this logic, this is how we do it. What this does is this puts limitations on us. And what we need to do is we need to cross that bridge of limitation in order to find a place full of possibilities. Now, last year was a huge year of change. I've had done so many readings for people who are experiencing it. There's been a huge mass awakening, and it's been hard. It's been pretty damn painful, and what happens is when we get these two worlds collide, the logic and the spiritual, we get them collide. And this is when we have this whole identity crisis, and we are like, who the fuck am I? Sorry for swearing there, but that's how it came through. Who the fuck am I? Because it's like, I don't want these restrictions, but whoa, how can I just believe in something? There is a mass identity crisis here. And this is a very, very scary time. What I can say to you is that if you are experiencing this, and there's so many people going through it, like I say, this mass shift that we're all experiencing, to try and do this without faith is terrifying, so you really need to keep your faith. Keep your logical head too if you want to, but please keep the faith here, because faith is what will get you through. That is it. There's so many people, right, what they're bringing through now, right, okay. Right, sorry, they're on a proper roll at the moment. This is because I haven't been working for a while. They're like, right, we're going to get our money's worth out of you. So I hear so many people telling me that they had a breakdown, they had this, they had this tower moment within their life. This is when everything just, when everything went to shit, really. Now, I always see a breakdown as a breakthrough. This is it. And I've experienced it myself. In my darkest time, I didn't know how I was going to get up off the floor. I didn't, I was on my knees literally, and I didn't know. And within that, it didn't come overnight, but, that was a breakthrough. And it was such a blessing now when I look back at it, And the thing is, they say that the second your knees hit the floor, that is when this breakthrough is coming, because that is when your faith kicks in. And that is when something will happen where you think, hold on a second, there is a little bit light, and that is when your knees hit the bottom. So if you are experiencing any traumas, anything like that at the moment, know that this is here to grow you. Know that this won't be easy, because it's not. If it was easy, you would learn a lesson in a day and that would be it. Lessons are very tough and lessons are very painful, but what we need to remember as well is that when we have one of these drops, or when we have one of these breakdowns or whatever, there is a reason for it. There is a reason that the structure around us has not been supporting us in the way that it should, has not been fulfilling us in the way that it should, because change only happens when it's needed, you know? So this is about slowly being reborn rather than, right, I'm just going to die slowly, if that makes sense, you know, because there is no positive and there is no growth in complacency. Like I say, you know, we look at that guy there, you know, he's going to come a cropper here because the world's going to fall from under his feet, and all because he just wasn't taking notice, you know. So, like I say, there's a big, I feel massive message with this today. What I want to say as well, like I say, when we're looking at these, I've said we've got with soul and we've got with ego here. The ego is what usually speaks first, and it usually speaks loudest as well, you know. And those that know least know loudest as well. That's another thing. But yeah, the ego is very good at getting in at the right time, straight away. It senses it. The soul, the soul hasn't got as, you know, the soul is always there. The soul knows that whatever you have to experience is for your own good. And what you need to do with your soul, like I said, what's happened the last couple of days is when the ego comes in, the ego has to speak loud because your head is going all over, you know. So the ego is going, yeah, this is what you need to do, this is what you need to do, that's why that happened, that's why you see, and all of this, right? And your soul's just sitting back and going, right, when all of the madness stops, when all of that craziness like just shuts up, that's when I will speak. So this is about stilling your mind in order to listen to your soul. So, like I say, because right, okay, they're bringing more in. A lot of times, it is not the situation or whatever that is actually causes our problems. It's our thoughts connected to that, which is usually fueled from our ego. So, right, I'm going to shut up now because they're bringing loads and loads more in, and I'm now up to 37 minutes. So I'm so sorry about that. I like my new cup. I wish I could stab idiots with my head. I love it. It was a Christmas present that I absolutely adore. So, right. So I feel that the message, we've still got the Colette Baron Reid card. Sorry. One more. I'm sorry this has been a bit disjointed today. Right. The Colette Baron Reid card that I picked, 21, you know, which again is a 2 and a 1, is a number 3. Okay. So this is clean it up. That's it. Clean any of the debris up. We're going into a new year. We have 2 days left. You know, any loose ends you have, anything you need to clean up, anything that is still dirty, you know, it needs to be cleaned up. It needs to be polished. It's get that feather duster out, because what I'm getting is there is so much mess in your head. This is, yeah, the mess is in your head. Once you start to clean it up, once you start to clean up your environment, once you start to actually start putting those thoughts, rather than having everything all over, putting them in their right place. Negative thought, positive thought. Is that a helpful thought? Is that, you know, is that an unhelpful thought? Is that my ego? Is that my soul? You know, you will start to see things start to clean and things start to clear, you know. So this is what this card is saying. A spring clean of the soul, I feel, you know, go into the darkest corners. They've been dredged up the last couple of weeks, you know, so now it's sweeping out all of the crap, you know, getting ready for a new year. It will be a new year, whether you want it or not. You know, this is what is happening. It's a 1 number this year. You know, we've learned a lot of lessons in this year, this 2016, and they will be carried on into 2017. They will, you know, so you don't know when. You don't know when they're going to be like sort of, all right, okay, I've got to use that, but keep them in your backpack. You know, you've got all of them lessons, you've learned them. So today, I feel that the overall message with this is balance. You know, like I say, don't go off and be all woo-woo and right, I'm going to go off and I'm going to live in a treehouse in the jungle. That is probably not going to solve your problems, you know, but also say, right, okay, don't say, right, okay, I'm going to go and I'm going to live how society tells me, and I've got to be like this and like this and like this, because that is just pure conditioning, and that will not make you happy either. So what it is it's finding this this middle ground, where you are in harmony with yourself, where you are in harmony with the universe, and when you are in harmony with nature. When you find that, that is when you find your peace, and that is when you found your center. And if you are not centered, nothing will go right in your life. Nothing. It might for a brief center, brief minute, but it won't, because we need to be centered within ourselves. We can have days where we fall off, we can, but then it's bringing us back onto them, and it's actually carrying on forward, remembering who we truly are, like I say, taking all the masks off, being centered within ourselves, and using the mixture of logic, intellect, with our spiritual, psychic and intuition. This is it. It's mixing the abilities. We have them all, and when we can do this, this is when we can live a much more fulfilling life. So I hope that made sense. Very different to my normal readings there. It's like I say, them cards are, they're talking in a very, very different way, Please remember to have faith. That's what's just came in there as well. And sorry, I've just they've just brought in I've just got really emotional there. They just brought in the George Michael song, "You've Got to Have Faith." I'm going to have to look up the words of that, but I will actually put the link on below with the descriptions, just so that you can have a listen to that. That's really bizarre, because I actually talked about the creatives, and then that came in. "You've got to have faith." Yeah. Okay. That really reminds me of my youth as well. A very good friend of mine, Karina, who I adore. But right, okay, I'm going to go have a fabulous New Year's Eve. And, I really enjoyed the last couple of days of 2016. And it will be pretty much like good riddance. That's it. It's gone. Please don't come back. 2016 was, it was a very testing year. But, 2017, we've got a lot to come with that. Okay, so I'm sending you all much love today. I hope there's a lot more smiles and laughter next year than what there's been. And like I say, just, this isn't a dress rehearsal. We don't get another chance. We've got to go for it this time, and just live it and love it. That's what just came in there. So sending so much love. Satnam.